On behalf of the Brizan family, I wish to sincerely thank the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association for honoring my late husband, George Ignatius Brizan, by naming this facility at Beaulieu after him. I am a bit emotional right now because of those people who went before me to give reflections about him, because it brought back so many memories. I want to thank them all for those reflections. George Brizan served as a dedicated parliamentary representative for this Northeast constituency for 3 consecutive terms. Hence, I think it's a fitting tribute to him to name this facility in his honor. In addition, some of the services that are being offered here is a true reflection of what he believed and what he has advocated for the nutmeg industry as far back as 1979, when he wrote the first edition of the booklet, Grenada, Black Gold, the Nutmeg Industry. And I would like to just quote a little bit from that book. He said, the recommendations made on the creation of value added in the nutmeg industry through the manufacture of certain derivatives, for example, nutmeg oil and other secondary products, is still very much valid today. And that was valid today, 2003, when he was writing. And now it is still valid today. I remember him speaking often and passionately about the need to stop exporting nutmegs in caucus bags. He believed that it was time we added value at home here in Grenada. And one of the first steps in that direction was the nutmeg oil distillation plant at Mali in St. Patrick, a project he was very proud of. He also supported the late Dennis Noel with his famous nutmeg spray, and Joel Webb, who produced many byproducts from the nutmeg at the time. But George always believed that the GCNA should get into the business of value added so that farmers as a whole would benefit and not just a single individual. In his efforts to educate the public and stir greater awareness about the nutmeg industry, as you heard before, he published 2 editions of that booklet, The Nutmeg Industry, Grenada Black Gold. And the first one was in 1979, where he detailed the history of the GCNA and outlined the various products that could be derived from nutmeg. The second edition, published 22 years later, and he referred to it as a sequel, provided an updated perspective on that industry. George firmly believed that the nutmeg industry should be developed to the benefit of Grenadians. He often pointed out, and at that time, he did the research on it, and he discovered that over 90% of the value added to the nutmeg went to the foreign exporters. And less than 10% remained in the hands of the local farmers. This imbalance troubled him deeply. What many people may not know is that George Brizan was also a nutmeg farmer. Yes, I still have his nutmeg producer's book at home as a souvenir. He used to pick up his nutmegs, himself and his children. His father and mother were also nutmeg farmers. But they not only produced nutmegs, they produced cinnamon and cloves and cocoa and other livestock, among other crops. George followed in their footsteps, and when he had his own land, he planted a wide variety of fruit trees and other crops. And he believed that we must grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Sadly, in 2004, the Hurricane Ivan destroyed everything, including the nutmeg trees that he inherited. By 2005, George had already faced 2 eye surgeries that left him blind in one eye. He had undergone multiple bypass surgeries after a massive heart attack. And he was also battling diabetes, which eventually damaged his kidneys. But despite his decline in health, he remained active in giving advice and guidance regarding the future of agriculture in Grenada. I remember him setting up a company for basically that purpose, and he gave advice to farmers, to government officials, to government, and to any business person who wanted that advice. He passed away at a relatively early age, at the age of 69, but his memory is still alive. If he was alive today, I know he would be proud to see what the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association has accomplished with this facility, particularly in the areas of product development, education, and the establishment of the museum. These initiatives are in line with the vision he so often spoke about and worked towards. And he always also believed in linking tourism and agriculture. And what goes on in this facility is a true reflection of how you can link tourism and agriculture. George quoted a lot of proverbs and other things, but one of them that I like to quote now is, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. But teach him to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." This familiar proverb guided everything he believed in. That is, that sustainability comes not from handouts, but from knowledge, empowerment, and meaningful industry. I believe that this initiative at Beaulieu is a powerful demonstration of those words, creating a sustainable future, not for a day, but for the next generation. May this facility stand to benefit immensely, and may it be a lasting tribute to George's legacy and a pillar of hope for our farmers and our country. I want to thank some of George's closest friends and associates for joining with us to witness this occasion. With special mention to Father Leroy Hopkins, who co-authored a book with him entitled Greatness Through Service to Humanity. I also want to single out Mr. Kent Joseph, a very close friend, especially in his final years, and who George had nominated to serve on the board of directors of the GCNA as a government representative in the 1990s. Thank you, all of you. It is my sincere hope that our farmers and Grenada as a whole will reap the benefits of this initiative here today. May God Almighty bless this facility. May God bless the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association, all its workers, its hard workers, and the entire nutmeg industry. And may God bless Grenada.